Today, we had the US debate between Donald Trump and Joe Biden, and it was taken live by all major news networks in this country, and boy, were there some wild moments. Biden mumbled his way through the event and at one point appeared to freeze.
Childcare, elder care, making sure that we continue to strengthen our healthcare system, making sure that we're able to make every single solitary person eligible for what I've been able to do with the COVID. With dealing with everything we have to do with. Look, if we finally beat Medicare.
Thank you, President Biden.
Awkward stuff. And Trump clashed with Biden about this dubious claim.
I was recently in France for D-Day, and I spoke all about those heroes that died. I went to the World War I cemetery he refused to go to. He was standing with his 4-star general, and he told me, he said, I don't want to go in there because they're a bunch of losers and suckers. My son was not a loser, was not a sucker. You're the sucker. You're the loser.
President Trump?
First of all, that was a made-up quote, suckers and losers. They made it up. It was in a third-rate magazine that's failing, like many of these magazines. He made that up. He put it in commercials. We've notified him. We had 19 people that said I didn't say it. And think of this. Who would say I'm at a cemetery or I'm talking about our veterans? Because nobody's taken better care. I'm so glad this came up, and he brought it up. There's nobody that's taken better care of our soldiers than I have.
Tim Blair, I'd love to get your thoughts. Who won the debate?
Joe Biden lost it. It was extraordinary to watch because we've been told recently by Biden's campaigners and by various supporters in the media that behind closed doors, Joe Biden is this whip-smart operator who just, he's on top of every brief. He's faster than even the youngest intern in summing up details and issuing commands and being so precise. But then you see him. Then you see this shambling wreck of a man who, as you said, froze. And also, I think the really damaging, one of the indicators of how damaging this performance was that even while it was underway, the Biden campaign was telling the media, oh, he's had a cold. He's got a really bad cold. They were doing that during the debate. Yeah, right, like a cold's going to explain all that. Let me just read one line from the New York Post. The New York Times. Big Biden supporters at the New York Times. This is from a guy called Patrick Healy, their deputy opinion editor. 30 minutes into the presidential debate, I've heard from 3 veteran Democrat presidential campaign officials, and all of them had the same reaction to President Biden's performance. This is a disaster.
Sophie, on that point, just last week on this show, we were talking about this whole issue of cheap fakes that Jean-Pierre, the White House spokesperson, has been trying to push, where newsrooms who are running these moments of Joe Biden freezing are apparently involved in some kind of distribution of fake news. I think this debate has shown that those fears are very real. The phrase cheap fake is ridiculous. What did you make of the freezing and of the reaction to it?
Joe Biden's freezing was absolutely catastrophic, Jack, and something that all Americans, they're not silly, they can make up their own mind. Joe Biden freezing in that moment, Trump's look on his face, looking across him on the screen, was just priceless. He also appeared to stumble. I mean, I must say, I saw quite extensive amounts of that debate today, and I would argue that Trump won it hands down. Biden stumbled. He couldn't execute his points clearly. And Trump just had the numbers in front of him. He had good arguments. And I think this is going to be incredibly interesting the next 5 months to see what happens. But this has got to put Trump in pretty good shape coming out of today's debate.
Yeah, it'll be good to see the next poll that comes out